going.
My favorite part of the second half is when she was in that fucking blimp, and every single time she's like, "Where's my mom?" And he calls her out, and she's like, "Where's Marty?"
That
And
was
then he
so
calls her
messed
out
up.
as he's fucking eating.
That was
That
my favorite.
was my favorite part of the entire fucking book. I thought it was so funny.
And one of them,
I thought
like
it was so
the one
funny.
with the mom, I did that thing I've told you guys, like if it's time for me to stop reading, like nothing will stop me, and that just happened to be like I didn't the cliffhanger of it being like the mom was the food. I waited like a whole day before I found out that it wasn't.
Oh no.
I really didn't know. That would have been a
It was
crazy
so funny.
twist.
Yeah. But overall, I still really like this book. I still really enjoyed it. I think I took a different turn. It was a lot less violent, this book, but I still felt like it was meaningful and interesting. I liked all the characters. It got a little bit too preachy for me at the end when she was trying to convince what's his face to like sell his shit and then go into like the underground, like the web, the Ready Player One type shit. But other than that, I thought it was like really interesting. Zoe's a little bit better, and I guess I've come to appreciate Zoe as just like a very flawed character and just as somebody who doesn't really know what the fuck is going on and doesn't really have any sense of self or any like sense of, belonging. And I think that really came to like light when she was talking to Echo and Echo was like, you have to fucking trust this bitch. Like we're hired for a reason. Like, you never listen. Like, you know what I mean? Like she just like Zoe's just as crazy. And I think she's just like her fucking dad from everything that they've been telling us. Um, the whole thing where Carlton showed up with Stench Machine, I was like, "Yeah, girl, that cat's at home. Like, that is not your fucking cat." Her costume with the like giant cat, that was just so fucking hilarious too. Like the entire like, I think this book was like more funny than violent, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the characters a lot more. I still really enjoy Will and Andre and Buzz. I don't know. I just thought it was funny. I really like a lot like the addition of Alonzo as like this crazy guy who just like wants to be a fucking mayor of this city. So that was like a lot of fun. And at the end, I was like, girl, why are you trusting Dee Dee? Like, I'm sorry, but like this is where I feel like Zoe has like no sense of self and like no purpose and like no business managerial skills because there is no way in fucking hell I would actually implant the correct version of Ray on it, radar, whatever, into anybody. Like, no one's getting that. Absolutely not. Why? So you can overtake me? No, I don't fucking think so. Anyways, those are my first impressions, but I will continue as you guys talk, as you know.
Manel, you want to go or should I?
Yeah, I can go. Overall, I think it was good. It was still funny. I do think that it did suffer from second book syndrome, though. That's just me. Because I feel like the first book was like way up here, like the action, the intrigue, the suspense,
Mm.
everything else. It was like way up here. And then all of a sudden, it kind of did not match up to that because I was expecting it to be like the first book or better than the first book. It did not match up to that vibe, but it was still good. It was still pretty good overall. Yeah, but that was my favorite part too. Like, where's my mom? And he's like, "Are you enjoying the food?" I was
And then like I think
Tender,
he was saying
isn't
like
it?
he's such a tender boy.
like, yeah, it
Oh, that's
was
horrible.
so funny. I love that part. But I I just have an issue with the whole plot of the story that these people are fighting a virtual war and like gaining status like virtually. Okay, I can see that happening, but then trying to include that plot into Zoe's plot kind of fell flat a bit. Like, oh, my cat's missing. That was the whole pivotal point of the entire story, right? But then again, this whole thing is so ridiculous, so I can totally picture it happening.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like when we watch an action movie, we want something like a good grip, right? Like we need something so good
Yeah.
it carries the entire movie. This did not have that to me, but also again, keeping in line with this whole universe, her doing all of this for a cat also makes sense. It totally makes sense. At
Oh
the
my
end,
god, yeah.
I did think that maybe she and Will were gonna have a moment, and that did not happen. And I'm like, why? Why do I want a romance in this book? It's not a romance.
So do I. Oh my god, I was thinking the same thing.
Because y'all are chicks. It's the only reason. There's like no other than the fact that you guys have ovaries. There's no other reason that you
But
guys
And
want a
there was like a
romance in this
brief
book.
moment where it was
There's no.
almost her and Echo. when she's like, "Oh, that chair is uncomfortable. Do you want to come sit on the bed?" And Echo's like, "No, I have to go see my dog." I was like, "Oh fuck, we're so close."
You
Yeah,
told me I was also like reading way into that interaction. But at the end, when she had that interaction with Will, and he's like, "Do you think that's the only reason we're doing this?" I'm like,
yeah.
What do
I
you guys
love
think? What do you
Len.
guys think Echo's dogs are? Because they're clearly not dogs, right? Or was I the only one? I feel like I've been gathering that since like book one that she doesn't actually have dogs, and there's some other reason she always has to go. But have you guys thought of that?
I think she's doing her
No,
own stuff.
yeah, I thought she had dogs for real.
Hmm. You should reread like just that chapter when she says like I don't want to go. I don't know. I don't think she has dogs, but
Yeah.
I'm curious. Yeah.
But that was like always one of those things too, where like, oh, I can't stay. I have to go wash my hair. Like that.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel it's like a
Yeah.
lie for like something else, but I'm also not. I'm not really counting on it being a lie for something like crazy or epic. Just
Yeah.
I don't know.
Also, in book one, we had that cliffhanger, right? Even though it wasn't like was just there. This book didn't have a cliffhanger, so I'm wondering what the next story could be.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
It could have easily ended there, but also they kind of left it open ended, but not in a good way. So I can't like imagine what the third book is gonna be about. But I'm still intrigued. I want to know what happens. I want to see this story to the end. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
shame.
I more or less feel the same. I think I probably have like a like like I'm pretty much everything you guys have said, but I'm like even more swung to the left where it like I was sort of like annoyed. But I still overall like enjoyed it. But like it's like I guess it's like mm, so like for instance, Raiden, it's Raiden by the way.
Thank you.
Raiden is probably the single most interesting thing about the first book that makes it so terrifying. And basically like deleting almost Raiden from this whole book is I think what pretty much just brought the intensity level like all the way down. And I don't know, I guess that's like very, very strange to me. And I it's not it's abnormal, right? You'd think like if there was gonna be like a trilogy and it was gonna be something like that, I guess like Raiden maybe would have like been introduced more like in book two if it weren't
Yeah.
gonna be like in every book and it would like ramp up. This one's like ramping down and like I don't understand. It's weird that it's ramping down instead of up because you had humans with superpowers and then it was like almost completely taken away and instead we had what did we have? Do you know what I mean? But so that's kind of like the weirdness with the plot, pretty much like what Manel's saying. But it was still like very like enjoyable. Zoe is like I to me still like I'm still like sort of halfway on her, but I do appreciate the fact that she's like flawed in like a good way and just sort of like makes mistakes and screws up because we don't see that enough in these books and
Yeah.
it's pretty annoying when girls are just like female protagonists are just like perfect and she's certainly not perfect. So yeah, I can still kind of like that. Uh, let me see. I guess like the fact that like what's the name of the main bad guy? Like the you know the cannibal guy, the fake cannibal guy at on the in the blimp. What was his name?
Schwab?
Schwab?
Schwab? No. Wait,
Whatever.
I don't
was
know them.
I forgot. Whatever his name was, I'm like I'm just like thinking it through. Like, is the next book gonna be like a few months or years later, and that's like her dad-in-law, and she'd be like brothers with the guy, the VR
The
guy, right?
Marty.
Yeah, like they'd
Yeah.
almost be like related by then, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Like I started thinking about that at the end, and I'm like, what is going on? And I think that's why they made the guy so like kind of like oddly likable right in the beginning, the blimp guy. But at the same time, as soon as I like look at it in that light, I'm like, I don't know what I I don't know how I feel about all of this.
oh my god.
But it's interesting. It's interesting. But
You
then
think
again, wasn't the mom like hooking up with like Andre by the end of last book, or did I
Yeah.
imagine? Yeah, so maybe
No,
by the end,
she was.
maybe she's already like moved on to the next guy. By the time book 3 comes in, it's not going to be any of this. Um, yeah, that whole blimp standoff. I don't know. It was kind of like it was unsatisfying on one hand because of how book 1 was with the action, but at the same time it was interesting them just having this like funny conversation, and like out the windows you see like you basically were seeing the crazy action scenes from book 1 out the window as the team is like getting them and like lowering the hand and like like doing all this crazy stuff, but for them they're just sitting there having a meal. It was like it was kind of like funny. It was interesting, but yeah, this felt more like a, I don't know, like a 1.5 or like a novella than like a proper sequel to the first one. So yeah, I also have no idea where it's gonna go, but I still want to read more. I'm like excited
Yeah.
to learn more and stay in the universe. I think it's a couple of really cool books.
Do you actually think that book 3 is gonna start off with a wedding? Her mom getting married to
It
That'll be
could
fun.
be. And like it would sort, because like I don't know, it would sort of explain like Zoe's like weirdly good relationship with both Marty and the dad. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
um but I don't know. If that's what it is, like I don't even know. And then also the way she was like talking about like, oh, I'm gonna like handle Will. I thought that she was actually gonna like do something, or like something was gonna like happen between her and Will, but
Right.
nothing at all. And she just gave him like a slightly better but still bad grade, and that was it. Just so the book ended. So I don't really know what's gonna happen with that either.
Yeah,
Um,
when she said that, I thought she was gonna like fire him or something.
right,
But like,
and then I was thinking about it, and I was like, Will having like a villain arc and him being the bad guy in the third book would make total sense with all of this,
yeah,
because he's just like, you know, he's just slightly weird and eccentric and really powerful and knows what he's doing, and like you know what I'm saying, like it would have worked, but it doesn't seem like they're going that way either. So I don't really know. Oh yeah, and then I guess last thing out. This is one of those things where like I suck at remembering, and I wanted to ask you guys. So it was Dee Dee, right? Dee Dee was the chick at the end who was working for whoever and like sort of behind the scenes and whatnot. Was I hearing that right? That like Zoe was giving her Raiden so that she can be stronger
well,
than men.
not
And is that
giving that there's like a whole procedure and process that you need to go through before.
sure, sure,
Except he invited her to come and start that process.
yeah.
That's what.
But the purpose behind it was that she could be stronger than men,
Oh yeah, something like that.
basically. So definitely an arc that I don't want to see is Zoe giving Raiden to like all of the disenfranchised women of the city, and that leading to like world peace or something, because that sounds super stupid. But I don't
I mean,
know. Hopefully I'm reading too much into it. Oh, you might be
Good.
muted.
Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
gosh, sorry, I was talking. I can see that happening because we already saw the beginnings of that when those women saved her from Verstappen,
True,
whatever his name was.
true.
So I could, and at first I thought it was weird too because Dee Dee was just like, oh, you know, like I want to know that my people can walk the street and be safe and not be scared. I was like, what, like Mexicans, Italians, like black?
Yeah,
What are you?
I know, I
And then
know.
she turned into women, and I was just like, oh, huh.
Because the thing is
And I was
there's
like,
lots
okay,
of people that are helpless in the city right now.
right.
It's not just women. It's like pretty much anybody that isn't violent
Yeah,
is pretty
like
helpless in the
Slumville or
city right now.
whatever, they
Right.
literally have nothing.
Yeah.
So,
Um
and
I
I just don't think with that kind of power you should give it to anybody at all. Like that's like
right.
I'm just of that
Right.
mindset
And the thing
in real
is
life
like,
and in fictional life. Like
and
I
so
would
like
never no.
and basically if she does it and she's retarded enough to do that, it had better lead to it being a disaster. But if somehow she gives
Yeah,
all this power to all the women and somehow that's like the cure for the universe, that will be so stupid, because anybody with that much power is going to get corrupted and screwed up. It doesn't matter what their gender is, you know what I'm saying? But I can't really tell. I hope I'm just wrong about it, and that's like not why she gave it to Dee Dee. But it seems pretty clearly like that. That was so weird. I just thought that the interaction was like so weird, and I don't understand where it's supposed to be going.
yeah, same. What I want to know is how with all that money Zoe has not fixed her fucking teeth. That'd been like the first thing I do.
But she
Yeah.
said she do it, right? Because she wanted to keep something of her own
Girl,
self.
I don't give a shit. When I get money, please.
Yeah,
I was like,
fair.
Zoe, get it together, girl. Put some effort into it.
But I did like
But
the fact that she had a company-wide Christmas party and all the prostitutes and all like the white collar execs and they were all like together. I thought that was funny. Like, can you
Yeah.
imagine in real life?
Yeah,
That would be
yeah.
yeah,
I thought that was kind of cool too.
Mhm.
yeah, it's true. But
Yeah,
anyways,
I guess I'm just I guess I'm very much so left with like a lot of questions. And luckily there's another
yeah,
book. Hopefully I don't feel like I have all these questions after the third book.
Yeah,
same.
yeah.
We're finally on to the book that Julia actually picked. Let's
I
see how
know,
it
how funny.
is.
I feel like we got here quickly though. These books have
Yeah,
gone quick.
they have been,
Oh.
and they
I
haven't been
also
like a
appreciate
slog
the
to get
length
through
of
or
these
anything.
books. Like, so
Ye-
that's the thing. So here's the thing about these books in general. Aside from the plot, aside from whatever, like, nuances we might have, they're a good length and they're a good pace. Like, they're
Yes,
easy to get through. They want you to keep reading, even if you don't get the questions. Like, there's always something happening. So it's like they're good, they're well paced books, I think.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a whole ton of just like fluff where you're thinking like, oh,
Yeah.
we didn't even
There's
need
not
that
like
chapter kind
many
of thing.
lulls. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, true,
Yeah.
true. I like that
So,
about him.
anyways,
Oh yeah, kind of preachy thing, but I kind of like appreciated this point was just that idea that in that in like the vacuum of like her like the bubble of her mind, like just like a few like a really like a really really loud minority was making her feel like shit, but the
yeah.
vast majority of people were actually like fine with her or oblivious to her. uh I think that that's just like super true with like all kinds of things, and it makes
Yeah.
like total
Yeah.
sense that she could fall into that trap basically, because like everyone's falling into that trap with social media. It just kind of sad and sucks. So I
Me
kind of
too.
like that, and the reveal of it by her just watching the VOD of the initial rescue and just seeing like, oh wow, people actually liked me. That was kind of cool. That was kind of cool.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, moving on.
Moving
Moving on.
on.
Zoe's too drunk for
Zoe
this
is too
dystopia,
drunk for this dystopian. Yep.
with the coolest looking cover of the three by far.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited.
All right
Alrighty,
then.
y'all. Happy reading. I'm excited.
Bye. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.